The capture and adaptation. The light of 3 alien suns filtered through the observation dome of Nexus Station, casting prismatic shadows across Dr. Maya Chen's operating theater. Her hands moved with practiced precision, steady despite the 18-hour surgery she was performing on a Centaurian diplomat. The alien's 3-chambered heart had been damaged in what the station's security discreetly called a diplomatic misunderstanding. Microvascular clamp, Maya murmured, and her assistant, a 4-armed Praxian medical technician, placed the delicate instrument in her outstretched hand. Maya had built a reputation in this lawless sector of space where multiple species converged in an uneasy alliance. Humans were newcomers to the galactic community, but their medical innovations had quickly earned them respect. Maya's specialty in xenophysiology made her particularly valuable in this frontier outpost, where conventional medicine often failed against the bewildering variety of alien physiologies. The diplomat's vital signs stabilized on her neural display. "We're done here," she said, straightening her back. "Close him up and start the regeneration sequence." Maya stepped away from the table, peeling off her surgical gloves. These days, she rarely remembered her prestigious position at the Terran Medical Academy. 5 years on Nexus Station had changed her. Out here, medicine wasn't about publishing papers or chasing accolades. It was about saving lives on the edge of known space, where mistakes meant death and innovation meant survival. The attack came during her walk back to her quarters. Later, she would berate herself for not noticing the signs. The unusual stillness in the normally bustling medical sector, the slight flicker in the station's ambient lighting that indicated power being rerouted. The air shimmered, and suddenly she was surrounded by 6 tall figures. Their exoskeletons gleamed with a metallic iridescence that reminded her of oil on water. Multiple compound eyes reflected her startled expression back at her. The Voth Collective had found her. "Dr. Maya Chen," chittered the lead figure, mandibles clicking in what she recognized as their version of formal address. "Your presence is required." Maya's hand moved toward the emergency beacon implanted in her wrist, but a flash of blue light enveloped her before she could activate it. The last thing she saw was the sterile corridor of Nexus Station dissolving around her. She awoke in a cell that defied conventional architecture. The walls pulsed with a bioluminescent glow that seemed to respond to her consciousness. The gravity felt heavier than standard, and the air carried unfamiliar chemical traces that her enhanced senses, a medical upgrade from her academy days, identified as neurological suppressants. Maya took inventory of her situation with clinical detachment. She was uninjured. Her medical implants were functioning, but blocked from external communication. Her synthetic memory augmentation was intact, meaning she still had access to her vast catalog of medical knowledge. The Voth were legendary in medical circles, an ancient insectoid species whose biological sciences were centuries beyond humanity's understanding. They were also notorious for their belief that all other species existed to further their knowledge. Their research methods were said to be as brilliant as they were horrific. "You are conscious. Good." The voice came from everywhere and nowhere, transmitted through the vibrating walls themselves. "You will be evaluated." Maya stood, scanning the cell for surveillance devices, but finding none. The entire structure was likely a sensory organ. "I assume the Voth Collective is responsible for my abduction." "You are not abducted. You are acquired." The subtle distinction in translation sent a chill down her spine. "Your work with cross-species trauma treatment is of interest. You will demonstrate your methods." "I don't perform under duress," Maya replied calmly, though her mind was already calculating possibilities. The Voth viewed other species as resources, not equals. Defiance would be met with force, but compliance without resistance would signal weakness. Demonstration is not optional. The cell wall parted, revealing a corridor lined with the same pulsing material. "You will proceed." Maya stepped forward, memorizing every detail of her surroundings. The Voth facility appeared to be partially organic, a living structure that responded to its inhabitants. Other cells lined the corridor, and through translucent membranes, She glimpsed diverse alien forms. Some she recognized, others entirely unknown. They were prisoners, like her, test subjects. She was led to a large chamber where several Voth scientists worked at stations made of the same biomechanical material as the walls. In the center lay a figure that made Maya's breath catch, a Lyrian, one of the gas-based sentients from the Cygnus Nebula. Its containment field was failing, and its gaseous body was losing cohesion. "Save this specimen," ordered her escort. "Its atmospheric composition data is valuable." Maya hesitated only briefly. Whatever her situation, she was still a doctor. She approached the Lyrian, assessing its condition with practiced efficiency. "I need spectral analysis equipment and molecular stabilizers," she said, not looking up. "And remove these." She held up her wrists, displaying the restraint field that limited her movements. The Voth scientists exchanged communications through rapid mandible clicks and pheromone releases that Maya's translator couldn't process. After a moment, her restraints deactivated and equipment materialized from compartments in the floor. What followed was a demonstration of medicine that even the Voth had not anticipated. Maya's approach combined human intuition with rigorous methodology. She identified the molecular degradation pattern in the Lyrian's gaseous form and established a temporary containment field calibrated to its specific atomic structure. Then, using a technique she had pioneered on Nexus Station, she introduced targeted molecular stabilizers that allowed the being to regain its natural cohesion. The Lyrian's color shifted from a dying gray to a vibrant blue. It communicated through color pulses that her translator rendered as gratitude. The Voth observed in silence. Maya knew she had bought herself time, but also confirmed her value. She was too useful to kill immediately, but too dangerous to underestimate. "Your methods are unconventional," stated the lead scientist, approaching her with a measured gait. "You will continue your demonstrations." And so began Maya's new existence. Each day brought new specimens for her to treat. Aliens injured or dying from what she quickly realized were deliberate exposures to pathogens, radiation, or surgical interventions. The Voth were methodically cataloging how different species responded to various stimuli, building a biological database of terrifying comprehensiveness. When she refused to participate in clearly lethal experiments, they would withhold food or increase the neurological suppressants in her cell. When she succeeded in saving a subject they had deemed terminal, they increased her privileges slightly: better nutrition, access to more sophisticated equipment. It was during her third week of captivity that she discovered the communication network. While treating a crystalline entity whose lattice structure had been deliberately fractured, she noticed microscopic patterns in its damaged facets, not random breaks, but deliberate formations. As she repaired the creature's structure, she felt a faint vibration against her fingertips. It was transmitting information through touch. A warning. The Voth were creating a biogenic weapon designed to target neural systems common to most oxygen-breathing species, including humans. That night in her cell, Maya felt a subtle change in the wall's pulsations. Placing her hand against the surface, she detected a pattern similar to the one she'd felt from the crystalline being. The walls themselves were being used as communication conduits between prisoners. Maya had studied Morse code as a historical curiosity during her academy days. Now, she tapped a simple pattern: physician, human, ally. The response came immediately, vibrations so subtle they were almost imperceptible. Network active. 17 nodes. Caution. Over the following days, Maya learned about the prisoner network. It spanned multiple cell blocks and included beings with scientific knowledge from across the galaxy. Some had been captive for years, their expertise extracted by the Voth for their endless biological database. More troubling was what she learned about her captor's immediate plans. The biogenic weapon was in its final testing phase, a virus engineered to incapacitate but not kill, designed to make entire populations dependent on Voth medical intervention. A tool for galactic subjugation through forced medical dependency. Maya's hand trembled against the wall as she absorbed this information. As a doctor, she had taken an oath to do no harm. But the Voth were forcing her skills into the service of something that could enslave billions. Then came the unexpected development. Reports through the network of a strange illness spreading among the Voth themselves. It began in the guards who had the most contact with prisoners, then spread to the scientific teams. Symptoms included deterioration of their exoskeletons, neural tremors, and in severe cases, complete molecular destabilization. The Voth were masters of biological science, yet this outbreak defied their understanding. As their numbers dwindled and panic spread, they turned to their most valuable medical asset, the human doctor they had captured for her cross-species expertise. You will examine the affected and determine the cause, the new lead scientist told Maya, his mandibles quivering with what she now recognized as fear. You will be given full access to our medical facilities. Maya nodded, maintaining a neutral expression while her mind raced with possibilities. I'll need to examine patients, tissue samples, and environmental systems. And I'll need unrestricted access to my implanted medical databases. The Voth hesitated, then made a gesture of acquiescence. They were desperate. As Maya began her investigation, she sent a message through the wall network. Opportunity approaching. Prepare all nodes. The revolution would begin with medicine, not violence. And Maya Chen, captured human doctor, was about to demonstrate why underestimating humanity's adaptability was the Voth's most critical mistake. The revolution of mercy. The central laboratory of the Voth research station hummed with activity as Maya bent over a molecular scanner. Before her, a sample of Voth exoskeleton displayed unmistakable signs of cellular degradation. 3 weeks into her investigation of the mysterious disease, she had assembled a complex picture of what was happening to her captors. The pathogen doesn't follow conventional transmission patterns. She explained to Zoltek, the highest-ranking Voth scientist still healthy enough to function. It's not airborne or fluid-borne. It's propagating through quantum entanglement at the cellular level. Maya had chosen her words carefully, knowing they would trigger specific responses in the Voth scientific mindset. Their biological sciences were advanced, but their rigid evolutionary path had left blind spots in their understanding, particularly regarding quantum biology, a field humans had pioneered. Impossible. Zoltek's mandibles clicked rapidly in agitation. Biological systems cannot maintain quantum coherence at body temperature. This is established science. Maya displayed the molecular analysis on the lab's holographic projector. Humans once thought the same thing. We were wrong. She highlighted a specific molecular structure. This is a quantum biological receptor found in most sentient species, including Voth. Your experiments with the biogenic weapon triggered an unexpected quantum resonance. She didn't mention what she had learned through the prisoner network, that the crystalline entity she had treated possessed a natural ability to influence quantum states in nearby biological matter. Its fractured lattice had been a deliberate modification, an act of subtle resistance that had triggered the cascade now threatening the entire Voth population on the station. The weapon was contained in isolated systems, Zoltek protested, but with less certainty. Quantum entanglement doesn't respect physical barriers, Maya replied. Einstein called it spooky action at a distance. Your ancestors might have understood it better than you do now. The barb landed as intended. The Voth considered themselves the inheritors of perfect knowledge, passed down through genetic memory. Suggesting their ancestors possessed wisdom they had lost was deeply unsettling to their hierarchical worldview. Can you neutralize it? Zoltek asked, his compound eyes fixed on the deteriorating sample. Maya straightened, meeting his gaze directly. Yes, but I have conditions. The statement hung in the air like a thundercloud. Prisoners did not make conditions. Resources did not negotiate. Yet here was the human, standing before the most advanced biological minds in the galaxy, dictating terms. You are in no position. Zoltek began. 26 of your scientists died yesterday. Maya interrupted. Your exoskeleton is showing early signs of destabilization around your thoracic plates. I estimate you have 8 days before neural degradation begins. So yes, I am exactly in a position to make conditions. Through the subtle vibrations in the floor, Maya could feel messages passing through the prisoner network, spreading word of what was happening. The balance of power was shifting, molecule by quantum entangled molecule. State your terms, Zoltek finally said. First, all experimentation on sentient beings ends immediately. Second, every prisoner receives appropriate medical treatment for any conditions resulting from your research. Third, a council consisting of representatives from each species here will determine what happens to this facility and its knowledge base. Zoltek's antennae twitched in what Maya had learned to recognize as disbelief. You seek to dismantle centuries of Voth scientific advancement for sentimental reasons. No, Maya said firmly. I seek to transform scientific advancement that has been built on suffering into something that can heal instead. Your methods aren't just cruel, they're inefficient. Cooperation yields better results than coercion. Humans learned this lesson centuries ago. The standoff lasted 3 tense days. During that time, 5 more Voth scientists succumbed to the quantum pathogen. Through the prisoner network, Maya coordinated a subtle pressure campaign. Prisoners with specialized knowledge began withholding critical insights needed for basic station functions. Systems began failing in ways that only they could repair. On the 4th day, Zoltek returned to the laboratory where Maya was continuing her research. His exoskeleton had visibly deteriorated, with fractures spreading across his thoracic plates. The collective has considered your proposal, he said, the words clearly painful to articulate. We will cease experimentation on unwilling subjects and establish the council you suggested. Maya nodded, maintaining her composure despite the surge of triumph she felt. Wise decision. Now, let me show you how to begin treatment. What followed was unprecedented in Voth history. A collaborative medical initiative where former prisoners worked alongside their captors to combat the quantum pathogen. Maya established treatment protocols that combined conventional medicine with quantum field stabilizers. The most critical breakthrough came when Maya convinced the Voth to allow the crystalline entity, whom she now knew as Thalaxis, to assist in the treatment. Its natural quantum manipulation abilities, once properly focused, could reverse the entanglement pattern causing the disease. You're teaching them mercy. Thalaxis communicated through its crystalline vibrations as they worked together treating a severely affected Voth scientist. I'm teaching them collaboration, Maya replied, adjusting the quantum field emitter. Mercy is something they'll have to learn for themselves. As weeks passed and the immediate crisis subsided, the promised council took shape. Representatives from 17 different species, former prisoners and Voth alike, began the monumental task of cataloging the facility's knowledge and determining how it should be used. Maya found herself in an unexpected position. Neither prisoner nor exactly free, but something entirely new. A mediator between worlds, respected and feared in equal measure. The Cygnus Confederation has offered extraction, Nilari, a gaseous Lyrian member of the council, informed her during a private meeting. They can have a ship here within 3 days. You could return to human space. Maya gazed out the observation port at the nebula surrounding the station. The swirling colors reminded her of the brain scans she used to study at the academy, complex patterns of neural activity that contained countless mysteries. There's too much work to be done here, she replied after a moment's consideration. The Voth biological database contains treatments for diseases that are considered incurable in human space. I can't walk away from that knowledge. They abducted you. Nilari's gas form pulsed with concern. They forced you to participate in their experiments. Yes, Maya acknowledged. And now I'm going to ensure that the suffering of their test subjects wasn't in vain. Every piece of knowledge they extracted through cruelty, I'm going to transform into healing. Her decision reverberated beyond the station. As the council established communication with the broader galactic community, Word spread of the human doctor who had brought the mighty Voth collective to its knees not through violence, but through the stubborn insistence on the value of all sentient life. Some species viewed her with awe, others with terror. To subjugated worlds, she became a symbol of resistance. To aggressive empires, she represented a dangerous precedent. The Voth themselves regarded her with a complex mixture of resentment and reluctant respect. 6 months after her capture, Maya stood in the newly established interspecies medical exchange, once the main experimentation chamber of the Voth facility. Around her moved beings from dozens of worlds, working together to translate the Voth's biological database into treatments that could be ethically administered throughout the galaxy. Zoltek, his exoskeleton now fully healed, approached her workstation. The Voth scientist had undergone his own transformation, his rigid worldview fractured and rebuilt by the events of recent months. "The Council has approved your proposal for the medical ship," he informed her. "A vessel is being modified to serve as a mobile treatment center for frontier worlds." Maya nodded, studying the molecular model rotating above her terminal. "Good. We'll need at least 3 quantum stabilizers and a full xenobiology lab, and I want a mixed crew, representatives from at least 5 different species." "Already arranged." Zoltek hesitated, then added, "The ship requires a designation for interstellar registry." Maya looked up from her work, a slight smile touching her lips. "Call it Mercy." The name spread across the galaxy faster than any starship could travel. On frontier worlds where conventional medicine failed, the arrival of a ship called Mercy brought hope. Its human captain carried no weapons, yet had brought the feared Voth collective to its knees. She healed the sick without discrimination, yet had transformed one of the most fortified research stations in known space into a center for medical cooperation. In the shadowy corridors of galactic politics, Maya Chen became a figure that inspired both fear and awe. Fear from those who exploited others, awe from those who sought a different path. She had demonstrated that compassion could be as powerful as any weapon, and that medicine could revolutionize worlds as effectively as armies. Years later, when Maya finally returned to Earth for a brief visit, a young medical student approached her after a lecture. "Is it true what they say?" the student asked, "that you single-handedly defeated the Voth collective?" Maya shook her head. "No one changes the galaxy alone. I just reminded everyone of something humans have always known but sometimes forget, that healing is stronger than harm, and that mercy doesn't mean weakness." She gazed out at the auditorium full of future doctors, her legacy already taking shape in their eager minds. "Remember this," she told them. "Medicine isn't just about treating disease. It's about recognizing the value in every form of life. That recognition is the most powerful force in the universe, more powerful than any weapon, any empire, any fear." As Maya Chen returned to her ship and the stars beyond Earth, stories of the human medic who became a galactic legend continued to spread, a testament to humanity's unique gift for turning captivity into opportunity, suffering into wisdom, and fear into something far more powerful, the revolutionary potential of mercy.